Hey Frank, how are you doing today, buddy?
Great.
Are
Thanks.
you ready for this? Are you
Yeah.
ready?
Thanks for having us. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, no problem. So some people might not know exactly who you are. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and talk to us a little bit about your online store?
Okay. Well, I'm Frank Limper. I go by Frank Xavier on Facebook. I've been Frankie X on Pen Frank. Uh, Basically, I own and run Federalist Pens. It's an online store. It's my fifth year as a retailer. I've
Mhm.
been in the hobby, known the pen about 15 years now. I've been collecting pens since I was a kid, good 40 years. Uh, my brother's here too. Our father was
Yep.
in the pens. He was in the ballpoint rollerballs. And I got into fountain pens when I was teaching. I was teaching full time. And basically, I discovered people that used fountain pens. And then I discovered that there was a pen community. I discovered pen shows and pen forums. So that's all history. And 2014, I decided I wanted to try retail after selling vintage pens on the pen forums and at the Philly Pen Show for a couple years. Doing that, just having a table, and I decided I wanted to try retail, and that finally got going by 2015. And yeah, fifth year now, and Federalist Pens has grown tremendously. I represent 50 brands now, hundreds of products, even a few of my own brands, which I'll get into as we go through today.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah. Well,
yeah,
you were just saying you represent a bunch of different brands. I know that one of the things that a lot of people like is you've got your own ink line. You call them. There was like a couple of different ones. One in particular was a Monster Green or something like that. That's those inks are by Robert Oster, are they not?
yes. So what
Tell
happened?
us a little bit about that. How did you get into having your own ink made? Is there any story behind it?
Yeah, what happened was Robert Oster started making inks in 2016. He came on the scene. He was advertising on social media, and I was liking his stuff. And then we started talking, and he had just started making inks, like I said, that year. And he says, I don't really have any representation in the U.S. I just got started. I'm selling here in Australia and all. And he goes, would you like to try selling the products? And I said, sure. So by the summer of 16, he was only in about 3-4 months, and then I got my first shipment. I debuted Oster inks at the 2016 DC show, and basically. Anna Reiner, well-appointed desk, bought the first bottle even before the show started. She had heard about them, and she's like, "I want to buy Oster ink." So she bought Aqua, and she did a review. And then she did Fire and Ice later that year, and then of course Oster just took off tremendously. He's now has well over 20 U.S. dealers, and
Mhm.
well over 100 different colors. But what happened was in the following year, in 17, we collaborated and decided to do a commemorative ink for his first year in the U.S., and that was Frankly Blue. So Frankly Blue was the first one,
Okay.
a nice bluish green color. 18, we did Scarlet, and I was going with the wind theme, so we did Frankly Scarlet. Uh, my friend Craig Williams, who a lot of you know as CW Customs, he does great artwork. He works with fountain pen ink, so I commissioned him to do some of the paintings. He recommended the butterfly for Frankly Blue. It's something he had in his mind. He worked on that. I told him about the going with the wind theme, so he did a Scarlett O'Hara portrait with
Mhm.
this scarlet red color. Uh, Last year, uh, we did Frankly Green. It's like you said.
It's the one that I was thinking of. So yeah.
So I told Craig that I'm doing green. It's going Frankly Green, and he's like, okay, because I said I'm thinking about a Frankenstein theme. He's like, I got you. So he didn't tell me. He pictured me off the web, and there was Frank Ink Stein. So you see, Frank, there's an I and a K, very low key in there. So it's Frank Ink Stein. So it's really cool.
Yep.
And this year, I told Rob that I wanted to do my own for my 5th anniversary. So we got together and we called it Frankly Fifth. So this is my 4th one. This is celebrating my 5th year, so it's called Frankly Fifth.
What's the color?
It is a true bluish purple. It has
Okay.
a lot of nice variants. So depending on what nib you use, if you use a broader nib, you're going to see more purple. If you use a finer nib, you're going to see blue. So there's a lot of really good variants to this color. And Craig drew a 5th bottle for Frankly Fifth. So
cool.
Did
Great.
That was pretty good. And he did a custom card. Really good.
Yeah, cool. Well, I know along with the ink, you got a bunch of different brands of pens that you represent. Is there anything exclusive to you, or tell us a little bit about that? What kind of what brands do you have, and if there's anything that's more specific or exclusive to you guys?
Sure. I've been doing this. I had a couple hits and misses, but Federalist Pens is the exclusive U.S. dealer for Constellations 88 Pens, who is an Indian pen maker. He actually, I'll show you that on the site. I'm actually going to share my site information with you guys after a little while. Sorry about that. I am the exclusive U.S. dealer for Constellations 88 Pens. They actually deal with celluloid. He makes a piston filler, which was actually highlighted in the pen world last December in their highlights for 2020. And the Constellations 88 pens were in there. He works with, of course, the new acrylic celluloid, but it's a piston filler. It's called a Lyra, Lyra, and I'm the dealer for that in the U.S. At this point, I'm also the only U.S. Dealer for Magna Carta pens as well.
Okay.
Also another brand that's known. He has a lot, him and his brother, they're a brother team as well. They have a lot of different models, and I have 6 of them on hand. I also collaborated with Alan Shaw, who is a Philly area pen maker, and I came out with my founding brothers line of ballpoint pens. So what I did was I took one of his pens, a ballpoint, which actually is pretty weighty. It comes in at a good 62 grams, and it is based on the Patriot pen. And I made Washington, Jefferson, Madison, and Hamilton ballpoints out of that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I will show you about them.
Yeah, so along with that, do you have any specials then for the show, or are these maybe on special? Talk to us about specials. Is there anything that you did for us?
I also wanted to point out that I'm also have my own nibs now. Not only these are Bach number 6 nibs. Not only do I have them stamped with my Federalist logo, I have stamped. I have Bach and I have Federalist pen stamped nibs that are Bach number 6, and I also have Mark Backus, the nib grinder, do both italic stubs and his architect nib for me with both either my Federalist pen Bach or the standard Bach stag nib, the deer, the stag stamped nibs. So I offer them as well. I also do endless recorders, endless journals, the Tomoe River 68 gram in the colors and modes available for that. That comes in line, squared, dotted, and blank. What is exclusive with me is their bookmark known as the brooch. It is a stainless steel metal bookmark called the brooch. And I have it engraved Federalist pens, thank you. So I include this as a bonus when they order one of those journals. So really good. So that's pretty much my exclusive products. Specials, I'm always running specials on the site. A lot of my items are 20% off or more. I also have a discount code, especially for you guys today, for today and tomorrow during the show. I have a discount code called SHOW. Simple enough. It is going to give you, it's SHOW, and it's going to give you an extra 10% off at checkout. You just put in the code SHOW at checkout, and you will get an extra 10% off, which means you will save more than 20% off the items that I can discount. Pens that I'm not allowed to discount, you go to the site, you check out what item, you put in SHOW, you're going to save 10%.
Great.
So
Great.
you can have that option as
We-
well.
We got that. We got that code as well as your website in the chat box for everybody that's watching. So if you want to copy that stuff down and take a look at Frank's website here later on, you're welcome to do so. But thanks for doing that, Corinne. Appreciate it. So what is the actual best way to get an order in with you? Is it phone, strictly on the website, or what's best for you guys?
Okay. You can call me. You can go right to the site. I have a toll-free number. It's 866-746-4900, 4900. The site is actually pretty easy to navigate. I'm out there now and work on that and show you.
And that's federalistpens.com, by the way, for everybody that's watching.
Yes. So we're here. This is the site. Mobile friendly as well. Brand into and we're nasty brands. My toll-free number, 30-day no hassle. You could chat with me. Box here. I put our codes to save even more. And I have my little, and this is a form which is pretty easy to navigate. I do try to keep this fresh and put different things on here from time to time in the front. Homepage, of course, here, products. You can specifically by pen brand, and they'll show the window here for the different ones, paper brands, inks, pen cleaners and accessories, cases. You can also just click here, shop all collections, and you will see of the collections here. Very easy to shop this way.
Great. Great.
Come up, I don't know why it does, but here we come up here and all the different brands. So you can go right to that specific pen product if you like.
Mm-hmm.
It'll lag through here. See, it's a little slow.
Yeah, well, we seen the website, so that's all good. We got to see that. I would say right now we've got a lot of the questions that I wanted to go over taken care of. Is there any questions that anybody wants to submit through the chat right now? Go right ahead, and then I can sort them.
So here are the Lyras and exclusives.
By the way, there was a comment by Jason. He said he got the Frankly Green. He says it's an awesome color, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great dark green. Thank you. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for your order. I also wanted to show you guys that I have a couple special sections here on the homepage. You'll see here I have pens that are $25 and less. They are still eligible for the discount. You can click on them, and everything that is $25 or under is listed here. Of course, by refills. You could shop all fountain pen inks here. I have something called the back shelf here, which is closeout items. Some things that I can go over with you. So I have a couple items here. I have one last Tasha pen. I'm looking to actually close out my Tasha products, and I have one last Spectrum pen. These are Sailor steel nibs. This is a broad nib Spectrum demo red pen. It's going to come with 2 bottles of ink. It's going to come with their Tasha red Aka, AKA, and their Momo, M-O-M-O, which is their pink. So I'm including that for 120. This is over 190 list value. You can put in the code, of course, to save another 10%. It's no problem. And you'll see here I have other items too. I'm also, I have one last Conklin Nozac I'm looking to sell for $100 from 165. And I have some closeout items here. I even have a $20 gift set from Regal Pen that allows you to convert a rollerball into a fountain pen, which is a real good gift for a student, a first-time pen user, fountain pen user, etc. So I have them as well. And of course, on the homepage, I also have all the new product specials
Hey,
listed in.
Frank, I'm going to cut in here for a quick second. People are saying they're not seeing your video, so you're either not sharing it or something on your end you didn't do. We're not seeing your image if you're trying to show us on your website.
Wow, so I got one here to sharing. Yeah,
So I'm not seeing it either.
you're not
So
seeing it either?
we did have it for a little while, but I think you clicked, you went out of it or something. You clicked out of it or
I
stopped
just
the
clicked
share or
out of it
something.
now. Yeah, I just clicked out of it now. Back to me. Yeah, but you didn't see it for a while. It was running real slow, so I noticed that. I made that comment.
Mine was not working for a little bit, and then I turned it back to grid view at the top on that slider that changes the video view, and now I can see Frank and Dale.
Okay.
So
All right.
I would recommend that folks try that. If you're not seeing it, then
What Corinne's talking about is if you go to your top part of your screen, you've got floating panel view, grid view, and then there's some other icons there. That's what you're referring to, correct, Corinne?
correct.
So you want to click on probably what you were saying, click on the active speaker view or the active thumbnail video view.
Yeah, if I clicked on the grid view, then I was able to see Frank again.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I believe, Frank, you stopped sharing content from your site. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, that went back to me. That's how you see my face now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also noticed out something interesting that wasn't here before. My shared box is grayed out.
That might have something to do with your bandwidth on your end. It's possible we've seen that in the past.
Yeah, because I shared it before, and like I said, I did notice it was a little slow. So I asked other people.
Yeah. If you have separate images that rather than going to your site and working from the browser, if you have images on your computer there, that might share more easily.
Yeah, instead of doing things live off your website, if you have separate images. But we've got a couple of questions here that I can ask you real quick that we've gotten. One from John. He's commented, he says he's really careful about putting different branded inks that he's not familiar with in his good pens. What's the best way to get comfortable with newer brands of ink? And he's got dealer curation, question mark.
Sure. It's really a personal choice. You know, one, you should probably stick to the inks that you're most comfortable with. I represent 16 different brands of inks. Aurora, Colorverse, Oster, Diamine. You know, I represent most of the popular ones, so I'm sure you have one of them is your favorite. And again, you can, if you're not sure about an ink, you can try it in a more basic pen until you get comfortable with it, you know, to see how it works best for you. Some people like a lot of sheeny inks, some don't. I actually prefer to stick with non-sheening inks myself as well. In fact, with Robert Oster, I tell him my exclusive ones I prefer just to be more traditional. I like the variation. I like the color variation. I like the fact that they turn different tones and different colors, but glimmering, sheeny, you know, those types, not as much, you know. And some pens, it doesn't work as well on them, you know. So really, it's your choice. It's an individual choice. But I represent 16 brands of ink now, and I sample more than a dozen of them. So I actually offer 4 milliliter samples of ink, and they're pretty reasonable. And of course, I use the tubes like everybody else does. I use a blue cap for Federalist. Again, I'm all about history. We're here in the Philly area, so that's what Federalist Pens is based on. My love of history as a former history teacher and all that.
A comment by Larry, he uses frankly blue, green, and scarlet quite a lot. So it sounds like he really likes the inks that you've got there.
Yeah, Larry's a great guy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think at this point, unless Corinne's got something else, I think at this point we could probably allow people to kind of come in and ask their own questions directly. Let's go ahead and allow everybody to.
I went
do
ahead
that.
and you should be able to unmute yourself at this point.
Yep. Okay. So great. So for everybody watching, go ahead and do that. You can unmute yourself. It's the mute button down on the bottom left-hand corner there. And then there's also a video. It's a stop video or start video. You're welcome to go ahead and bring yourself in. And all we do is ask to be a little respectful to each person and ask the questions to Frank as you guys want to. And I'm just going to kind of moderate, so to speak, and Frank is the guy here doing his thing. So go ahead and ask some questions. On my end here, I see a John Taylor. So John, if you have any questions, you're welcome to go ahead and ask them.
Yeah, Frank, just one quick question for you. You have the Tomoe River papers, and I know you all have Rhodia because you bring a lot of it to the shows. I tend to use Rhodia for my daily notepads and jots and everything else. How does Tomoe paper compare? My understanding is it's great with fountain pen ink. It's a much lighter texture, but it does the job.
Tomoe River Japanese paper. It's inspired, it's by Japanese rice paper. It's a tribute to that, and it's known for being thin and being very ink friendly. It doesn't feather. The ink just goes on there and it dries, and it shows a lot of good variation, and people just love it. There's 52 gram and there's 68 gram. I offer 3 different Tomoe River products besides the Endless Journals, which are the 68 gram. I also have Nebula Notes, which is from Colorverse. The Nebula Note pads are 52 gram Tomoe River. And I also represent the U.S. Tomoe River distributor, which is called Lion Off Products. And that comes in a Tomoe River cover. It says Tomoe River, it's black. And they have pads and journals that are, again, the 52 gram Tomoe River. That comes also in white or cream paper. They have actually a journal, which is a dotted white journal type notebook. Yes, very good.
Got it. Thanks. Yeah, I think I got the loose sheets from you all at one of the pen shows, and I enjoy writing on it. But the reality is that most of my writing's done on memo pads. So I'll go look at the Colorverse and some of the others you mentioned.
Yeah, I see. That's a Rhodia reporter book, right?
Yeah, I alternate between grid and dot depending upon what mood I'm in that day.
Right. Very good.
All right. Well, thanks, John. Larry, is there anything you want to ask? You can unmute yourself, by the way.
Okay.
There. Where did he go? Oh, there's Larry over here. He just popped down. I lost his video feed. There he is. All right.
Malfunction. Okay. Yeah, I just want to say on the paper real quick, if you don't mind, that I use the endless recorder, and I'm a Tomoe River fan of the paper. I really like how the ink lays down on the paper. It pops. It shows that true color, at least in my opinion, of the ink. So when I finally tried the endless recorder, I use that religiously. I carry it with me every day. Wherever I go, it goes with me. So you can't go wrong with it. I also use the 52G Tomoe River paper religiously. I just like the way that paper feels. I like how the ink goes on it. You can't go wrong with it.
Frank, just out of curiosity, why don't you clarify your actual name? Because we're getting questions about, are you Frank Xavier Limper or what? So I know it. I know what it is. Why don't you clarify that for people?
Man, look at that. Who is this guy? What is this? You know, yeah. Francis Xavier. And X is actually an old college nickname. I was actually in college radio, and that was my handle. I was a DJ in college radio, and that carried over. You know, I'm part Italian, so I'm always a Frankie. I'm going to be 55 years old next May, and I'm still Frankie because our dad's Frank also.
Okay.
So I prefer not to be called Frank.
So Limper is your last name.
Yes, it is. So I go by.
Gotcha.
Frank, Frankie X, Frankie Xavier, you know, all that. It's all good.
Okay.
Some people asked about Federalist Frank too in the past, and that was kind of an in-your-face joke to Facebook when I first joined Facebook, because I joined it as a business. I didn't have a personal page, and then I got a form can letter from Facebook saying that you need to have a personal profile tied to a business account. I guess they want to make sure they have something to build to. So my brother and I were kidding around saying, okay, what can I use on Facebook? And then we just came up with Federalist Frank. And then that just took off from there. That even became bigger than the store. So that, that was funny. So now I'm just Frank Xavier.
All right. Well, great. Is there anything else that somebody wants to ask? You're welcome to go ahead and do it. You guys should all be able to put your own feed on as well as your mic. So go ahead and do that.
Got a question for Frank.
Sure.
Frank, do you know when you will be receiving, if you're going to order it, the new, what is it, the Parker 51?
I'm going to be getting one of them for myself. I think we'll come out the first quarter next year, January, February. Yeah, I'm not a Parker dealer, but I'll definitely be buying one of them for myself. They look pretty good.
Yeah, because what I'm hearing, they have the gold nib and the regular steel nib. So, I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy it on one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whoever is an authorized Parker dealer, I'll be in line with you. So, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, it should be good. Looks really good. Looks like a really nice tribute to it.
Yeah.
All right, Marianne, go ahead.
I'm looking for, I know it sounds strange, but I'm looking for a notebook that has good fountain pen paper, where either the lines or the dots or the squares are 6 millimeter, not 7 and not 5. Do you know anyone that carries that? I found someone in Switzerland who makes the notebook for me by hand, and I'm just wondering if you know of any regular production person who does that.
I don't actually. If you've already been buying custom from someone and you're happy with it, I would probably suggest you keep doing that.
Okay, just didn't know whether there was a mass production of anything like that or not, without having to get online.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Great. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions here in the chat. Does anybody have any more questions? There's a lot of people that are still with us. We've got a total of 18 participants right now. A lot of them are off. If you guys want to ask any questions, I would say go ahead and put your video feed and your take your mute off and go ahead and ask Frank any of the questions that you might have.
Yeah, you should to unmute yourself at this point. If for some reason you feel that you can't, just let me know and I'll hit the switch.
So there's a question right now by Bill. He's got a question. Are you going to continue to carry the private reserve branded inks? Okay, so it looks like you've already answered the question. Gotcha.
That's okay.
No problem. From what I understand, I guess Yafa's taken that brand over. So for those that maybe don't know that yet, that's my understanding. So they've put out a lot of different marketing that they've taken the brand over. So that's just kind of an FYI.
Yeah, when I first started, I carried PR inks. It was a favorite of mine. When Darla took them over, I continued to buy through her. Dale, it's okay. I know you still have stock, so it's okay to plug that at this time. It's okay. I don't have stock anymore, but you can.
No, it's all on my website. You know, I'm not bringing me in. This is on you. This is all you. I'm not bringing OM in. So this is all for you.
That's good. You guys know me. I'm always willing to lead people in the right direction. If I can't help them and I know a dealer that carries a product, I tell you that.
Yep, ditto.
I tell you that in person in shows. I tell you that I'll guide you to the table across the way. I will tell you on the phone, which vendor to work with, and that's fine. I'm enjoying myself. I do quite well. I still, this is a business, of course, but I'm a hobbyist at heart. So I will lead you in the right direction.
Yep. Is there any more questions for Frank?
Go.
Yeah, I do. Frank, by any chance have you heard through the grapevine that the Blackstone inks may be discontinued? A friend of mine that lives in Australia, where they come from, told me the other day that this is what he's hearing. Have you heard anything yet to that?
No, I haven't. I only deal with Rob Oster with Australian inks at this time. I know there's others, Blackstone, KWZ and all, but I only deal with Oster at this point. So I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of favorites out there, so hopefully continue. You know, it's a little rough for everybody right now with the COVID situation. So
Cool.
Frank, we got another question, and it looks like Corinne has already responded with your website, but Don's got a question real quick. He knows it's a subjective question. Okay. But he says you've got the Pilot Custom 823, and he's wondering which nibs are smoother, the Sailor M or the Custom 823M, and is the Pilot 823 eligible for the discount codes for today and tomorrow?
Okay. Again, subjective. I actually don't. I don't represent Sailor, and Pilot is well loved, well liked, and like I mentioned before during my spiel, if you put a code in at checkout, anything you have in your cart gets 10% off. So whether it's eligible for a discount or not, don't tell.
All right. Well, there was a comment here that the next, well, it'd be the second. John Phelan from Lemire Inks handles that, so they referred him to him. So if you didn't handle that brand, so
good.
See, yeah, Lemire is actually on today at 12:30. Just an FYI. Is there any more questions for anybody or from anybody to Frank?
People don't often just ask me. It's fine. Yeah, we do these live videos a lot, and we record them for later and all.
Yep.